Hi, I'm Cash, and welcome back to Cash Talks Football, where I break down all the goals scored in the Premier League. Using my over 20 plus years of coaching experience and doing many other things in the football world, I break down all the goals scored in the Premier League. And today we're doing Chelsea versus Manchester United. We've got so much to talk about, but there's a couple of key points I want to make before we start, so you can understand the Cash a little bit more and the thought process if you want to be a high-level player or a high-level coach. Now, currently, Cash is doing one of those Cash things where I argue with the entire world, and currently I'm arguing with a law professor on a law degree I'm doing because they don't understand anything and they're morons. One of the things they don't understand is they're saying, Cash, you hit all the legal points, but you've done it in very few words. You have more words to use. It's just like being a YouTuber. You hear those YouTubers all the time that say like and subscribe, and they talk for 25 minutes and they never say a single point. If you want to be a good coach or a good attorney or anything good in life, you make your point and you get in and out as clear and concise as possible. And if you do that, you will be successful. So we're going to be as clear and concise as we possibly can when we go through how bad both these teams are. Remember, this is battle of the bad. This is not good football here. But when two bad teams come against each other, things tend to go all over the place. Now let's have a little look at what we're seeing right here. We've got two centre-backs. Our right back's gone higgledy-piggledy. Our centre midfield is in a straight line. Look at this. Completely not a straight line here. We've got three. Two players are getting behind here. If you look at Chelsea, you can see that they don't really have much shape or structure either. However, they do have a little four in a little box where the ball is around. Do they have anybody over here? No, because they're trying to win possession. Don't necessarily agree with both these players going forward. He could be a little bit deeper, but he's trusting his teammates to win the ball. And we can see all of these things unravelling all at the same time because United are thinking that they're going on the front foot. By the way, there's another player. We're going to wrap on Kobe Mainoo and talk about him a little bit more as it goes on. Because I listened to a little bit of Goldbridge on the United stand, and he talks so much nonsense about this player. He's 19. He's not world class. Is he okay? Yeah, he's okay. He's not world class. Stop saying players are world class because they have a good game here and there. But let's just move this. So Chelsea won the ball, nice and simply, but everything I was just explaining now you can see in more detail. When those two players that were behind these three players, one's won the ball, and all of these players are now taken out of the equation because of a simple pass, and they're completely and utterly out of shape. Now, if you listen to that Goldbridge clown a couple of times, he'll say we don't have the players to pass the ball. The only way you can pass the ball is if you hold your shape. Remember, shape and formation are two different things. Do you think Aston Villa have the best players in the world? No, yet they can pass the ball. Do you think Tottenham Hotspurs have the best players in the world? No, but they can yet pass the ball because they hold their shape. And what that means is when a player steps in or out of the shape, somebody else fills in. This isn't what's happened here. A player, the right back, has stepped up. Kobe Mainoo, this brilliant, apparently, defensive midfielder guy, hasn't understood it. Well, he's not supposed to. He's still young. I want to brag on him, but I'm going to still give him a little bit of credit. Doesn't understand. That's his job. He needs to now step in and do that, right? Well, he doesn't know because his coach doesn't really know. By the way, I might be ragging on it. It might be Mainoo, it might be Casemiro. Same player, same problem, same issue. Doesn't really matter because the same structure is happening. Oh, I think that's Mainoo, actually. I think that is Casemiro. And what's end up happening is your defensive midfielder is playing... So I have to explain something before I go on to this rant. Right, so you normally have two midfielders in a proper system when you're playing a 4-4-2. And what happens is the other, your defensive midfielder, well, it's not really, it's your midfielder comes back and covers. If it's your defensive midfielder, he always stays in front of the centre-backs like this. That is somebody else's role and responsibility to come back and deal with it. So what ends up happening is you always end up with one player overloading on one side. You see this when you play against Man City. There's always two players running against the right back or always two players running against the left back because there's no cover. Because basically what you're really doing is asking your, it used to be wing backs back in the day, but now it's your right winger left winger in this case, to come all the way back and defend, which is not realistic. You cannot ask a player to sprint 65 yards back and come and defend. So then what you're asking for is your left midfielder to come and do that. But if he does that, then it opens up a space. The system is wrong. So you're playing against like rock, paper, scissors, and someone else's system is better than yours, and you're suddenly getting beat with an overload on the other side because your whole shape is completely wrong. And that's what happens here. So what ends up happening, is, look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Chelsea players running against 4 United players. And when the bad cross comes in, you're looking at how many players are in the box. 1, 2, 3, 4 Chelsea players. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You really can't count him or him. So it's 5v5 in the box. Think of that. You're the defending side, and the attacking side has the same amount of players as you. Do you know what happens when that happens? Goals get scored. And that's what happens. Is the cross bad? Yes. Is there a lucky ricochet? Yes. But it doesn't matter, because this wee man snaps it up and slaps it into the net box. That simple. Honestly, I think the keeper should have done better here. This is one of those saves when it's so close to the keeper, right? Right next to him here. He should have used his feet instead of diving, because he takes so long to go to the ground. If he just poked his foot out, and this is where David De Gea would have saved that with his foot, he wouldn't have gone down, because he knows. His foot would have saved it, his body won't, and as he goes down, Bosh, look, it goes underneath him. Yeah, put your foot out and you've saved it. Yeah, just not good enough to be wearing a Man United shirt. Let's get on to the next goal. Before we do, I want to show you the shape again, okay? This is so important, because with this view, you can actually see it. 1, 2, 3. Oh, no one's there. Gone too far forward. So if we have a 3 in midfield and we have a 3 up front, there isn't really much of a shape, because somebody hasn't got, completely messed it up. You cannot afford to do that wrong. You cannot do that. So some teams can, because what ends up happening is the 2 centre-backs will shuffle over. This guy will shuffle over and make a 3 at the back and play 3-4-3, which is my favourite formation, to be fair. That's exactly what you want to do. But that's not what's happened here. Got completely caught out, players in behind, as we can see. That's why they got punished. That's what's ended up happening. Before I show you the penalty, the actual collision between the two, what you have to look at is what happens before that. So you can see Mudryk, I think is terrible, is about to play a pass with the outside of his foot into this gap here. And you've got this little wee chap here. I think it's Dallo. I keep calling him Delalio, but his name's Delallo. Right? And he's going to try to sprint into this space. Fine, all right. But so's Cucurella. Is it Cucurella? I don't know how you say his name. I think he's so overrated, this kiddie as well. But they're both going there, and you can see that this guy's got 2 yards on him. But this comes down to determination and actual professionalism, which Man United lack in abundance. This guy, Delallo, is better and obviously got a head start on him and can clearly win the ball, but he doesn't. Now, when we get into the guts of it right here, you can see that his body shape's a little bit off. This guy's always beaten for pace, because the other guy didn't try as hard. The United player ends up committing a foul, and honestly, I do not think it is a foul. I'm going to show you that in a second. This, to me, is never, ever a penalty, and I get so frustrated with bad refereeing decisions. United should not have been punished here. This isn't a penalty. To me, this is a dive, and if you give him a yellow card, people stop doing this stuff. So this is the point of contact, and apparently, because of this, United are punished. That right there. It's not like he doesn't have a boner. He's not trying to, impregnate him. That apparently is a foul. No, it's not. He's running through. Is it a little bit of a tap? Yes. But that is not a foul anywhere else on the field, so it's not a penalty in my book. That is a soft penalty. The other penalty later on, that's a penalty. This, to me, is too soft. It shouldn't have been given. And this is where you need VAR. This is a clear and obvious error, in my opinion. Clear and obvious. That's not hard enough. Look at him right there after the next little clip that we do. Oh, and he's diving straight away. Completely and utterly going down really, really hard. Remember, Delallo, I think that's his name, he's not Harry Potter. You can't magic him away, out of the way. He's still running through. He can't just materialise on another part of the field and not bump into the other kiddie. He's still trying to play the ball. It's not a foul. It's a coming together. Contact does not mean a foul. But currently in the Premier League, any contact inside of the box is a pen. And that's what we get right here. Okay, so remember, penalties, in my opinion, are a game of rock, paper, scissors. Cash has never missed a penalty because Cash has never taken one. Well, I have, but that's just in training. Not in a game. Don't do it. It's not my game. It's not my bag. But this is important, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because Cole Palmer gets himself a little goal, puts it to a certain side, and Anna dives to the other side. Now, here's the other thing. I've watched a bit of Cole Palmer. I think he's a quality player. I don't think he's good. I think he's quality, different thing. It means he's got attributes that could make him good, but he shines in a Chelsea side that's bad. But he does a couple of things with the penalties. He's done his little Pachenko down the middle, but genuinely he goes to that one side there quite often. And the fact that Onana doesn't know it, again, Gives me no trust in this goalkeeper whatsoever. And Chelsea go 2-0 up. Okay, this goal is important to understand from many sort of team points of view. United do not score a goal here, even though they score a goal. And if you're a good coach, you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about before I even say it. So there's different ways of evaluating goals. Do you score the goal or do you score it on yourself? Now that's what ends up happening here for Chelsea. Bruno tries to play a ball and he completely spoons it. I think he's just awful as a footballer. I would never have him in my team. Whacks this ball up in the air, and here's the problem. When it comes down, Caicedo wins the ball, and instead of passing it to his goalkeeper like he should have, like a proper footballer, he plays a square pass to his mate, and his mate's body position is awful, and Caicedo can't understand that or read that, and he doesn't do anything correctly here whatsoever, and he basically just plays it to a Man United player. That's the difference of you scoring on yourself or the other team scoring on you. You've made the wrong choice because you're a complete clown shoes and you did not see the pass was here. You try to play a cute little thingy, you're doing something idiotic, and they've scored on you because you are terrible. That's you scoring on yourself, other than them. If they won the ball off Caicedo, right down as a tackle, great, okay, we won the ball, and then they've scored, fantastic. That means you as a team, you have scored. They have given you this pass. They've made the mistake. If they make the mistake, depending on how big the mistake is, you class it as, they've scored on themselves. And this is one of those scenarios. The wee man's pace is fantastic. He breaks into the space really, really well. The keeper doesn't do himself any favours by sitting back. Look how far back he is. He could have easily come out and try to close this angle down. At least been there. If he's there, it makes it a little bit harder. Look how fast this goes. Gosh, he's so far back. He opens up the goal, and the wee man's like, mate, I'm pretty tasty on this scenario, and he slots it away and makes a nice, easy finish. Good job, young man. And that's the face of a human being that knows that he's the reason why they scored the goal. They didn't score it. You made a terrible pass instead of giving it to your goalkeeper like you should have in the first place. This is simple. Tell me what you see, boys and girls. Tell me what you see. Look at how many Chelsea players there are. Look at how many Man United players there are. So if you're a good coach, what you would immediately do is you would draw a line down the middle of the field like that. Bosh, that's a terrible line, Cash. Oh, God, no. We'll get it there. Hold on, let me just do that again. That's just terrible. Let's do it properly, Cash. People are watching. Right, if we draw a line properly down the middle of the field, you can see... Oh, wait, that was even worse. There we go. I finally drew a line. Ignore the bit at the end. I didn't do that. Somebody else did it. Right, so you can see how many Chelsea players there are. 1, 2, we've got 3, we've got 4, 5. This thing cannot keep up with how fast I draw. 6, 7, right? And they're all on one side of the field over here. So that means there's nobody playing left back. Again, like I say, if you hold your shape, you win the game. They can't hold their shape because they do not understand what their formation does, and they have no clue of actually how to play football. So this is what ends up happening on this break. You can see the space that's opening up. Remember one of Cash's rules in the Premier League: when some clown puts his arm up and tells somebody else to go and mark somebody, within the next 5 seconds, someone is about to score. Yeah. That's exactly what happens here. Look, off he's trotting on that back post. You could see him the whole way. Didn't track him. We've got so many Chelsea players here doing absolutely nothing. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players doing nothing. You're not pressuring anybody. You're not marking anybody. What are you doing? Yeah, this is how bad it is in the Premier League with the mid-table teams. And when the quality ball finally arrives, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Chelsea players. Right? Think about this. You've got at least when United were defending, there was at least 1 player for every Chelsea player in the box. You've got 6 Chelsea players and 2 United players completely unmarked on the back post. How can you have 6 players and 2 players unmarked in the box? 6 players in the box and 2 players still unmarked. That's because not one of these single players have any interest or understanding of how to play football in any way, shape or form. Because you cannot have 6 players and then 2 players unmarked on the back post if they do. It's just, explain it to me. Explain how you can have 6 players in the box and still 2 players unmarked. Those 6 must be going out of their way not to pay attention to the 2 players and being focused on the ball so much. That's terrible. Ultimately, there's an easy tap in from Ratface on the back post. Let's get on to the next goal. It's a funny thing how football works sometimes. That same problem that United had when they had overcommitting players on their left side of defence, when they had 3 or 4 players running forward, and all of a sudden there was a pocket of space in behind them, is exactly now what ends up happening to them when they've got an overcommittance. But again, look at the midfield when they don't have, you've got one player but not another one who can cover for that, left-sided player, sorry, all those, players that are trying to go down the flanks to create space. There isn't that defensive player to come in and cover for them. No, I did not articulate that point correctly, but I'll do it again. Actually, there's a whole video I need to do about it. That's the problem. I've got too many thoughts running through my head about trying to explain exactly what those midfielders need to be. Ultimately, they play a pass out wide, and it becomes a bit of a foot race. Now, here's the interesting thing, right? Look at these 2 clowns. So, we've got the guy that's going to score the goal. Here he is. He's not bad. He's a little young chappy here. And the guy marking him. So, you can see the guy marking him. Let's see how close he is at the end. Now, if you're here, if you want to be a player or a defender or any way, shape or form good at the footballs, you're nowhere near the football. So you cannot win it. So the next thing you need to do is mark the player closest to you that can win the football. Right? There's no one else for this kind of mark but him. Let's see how close he is to him near the end. Okay, I'm going to try to back this up for a second because this guy stops running. He's watching, he turns, looks at the football, and he stops running. You can see how big the difference of the gap is here. Let me see if I can get a couple of seconds back and see if I can show you that. Watch this. He stops running. Do you see him stop running? He slows down completely. He just assumes this guy's going to be offside and lets the ball get played. Yeah, absolutely terrible. I wish I could play you more. That's why I need to start my Patreon a little bit better so I can do these analyses a lot more detailed. Because that guy there slows down running. And if I play the whole clip on YouTube, I'll get copyright struck again, which I'm still currently under 2. Because the Premier League hates me. I still think the keeper isn't getting enough criticism here because he could have been way, way further out. He could have already been up here on the penalty spot, and he's not. Look at him. He's reacting when the ball is bouncing at the penalty spot. The wee man here beats him with a little quality header, but honestly, the keeper could have been out way, way faster than that. Way faster. There's a little header in, bosh, and there we go. I do have to make a point because I yelled out on Twitter when I heard Goldbridge the clown talking about it, and this is the problem I have with people like him. He just chats crap. He says, oh, look, Anthony played a pass. That makes him world class. No, he's had one good pass. As I said, you make 20 world class passes and you do that for 3 years, and then we'll call you world class. You can't jump the shark and start labeling people world class or fantastic because all of a sudden everyone's now world class. Everyone's now fantastic. And you have no credibility because when people have a bad game, then what do you say? Well, no, you need consistency. If he does that week in, week out for 3 years, great, you'll be world class, buddy. You play one pass the entire season from the outside of your foot and you create a goal, it doesn't make you world class. So when people say it, don't ever listen to those human beings again. They're untrustworthy. They'll just say anything. Don't trust them. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the penalty incident. It's the same issue I've been yelling at everyone all day about, all week, every week, because they don't know anything about bloody football. Ratface is the problem here, not the 1v1 here. This guy's job and role and responsibility in this situation, you see the central defender and you see the left back. His job is to come down here and cover the half space, not deal with anything going on here. That's the point of a central midfielder. And this is not doesn't get coached anymore because I'll tell you why. The 4-3-3 system that they follow comes from Ajax Total Football. Well, actually, it doesn't really. It comes from what's a thing called curver coaching, which is a whole different thing from South Africa, which is all a whole other aspect of wormhole coaching and all this other stuff that people don't know anything about. So his job is to cover that space. That's his job, right? Because when this guy here, where's the danger? The danger is the space, right? Well, if you got that there, 1v1, okay, we can't do anything there, we've got a player there, great. The next dangerous thing, other than the ball, is the space. And that's what you need to cover. You do not need to defend here, because they cannot score a goal in this space here. However, in this space here, they can score a goal. So you need to come back and defend in that space. And he does not understand this, neither does his coach, and that's why he doesn't. Now it's even more apparent. You can see it so much more blatant now. Because here's the other difference, right? This guy here, little rat face, does not have the ball. So he can do anything he wants. He can run as hard and fast as he wants. However, this guy is trying to win the ball. So he can't just go on a flat-out sprint. And the guy with the ball can't go on a flat-out sprint. He can. That's why he has the advantage. And he should have a midfield partner. Oh, look, there's another one that can run in and sprint and cover that space. They do not understand this, and they do not get coached this. And I know why. We can't say it. They'll demonetize me. Well, I'm not even monetized anyway, so it doesn't matter. And all of a sudden, this guy here ends up committing a penalty, and he gets all the bad press. But it's these two guys here that are the real problem, and they will not understand and they will not recognize it. That's why they keep losing week in, week out. They keep identifying the wrong problems. They think that this is here. It's not. It's here. This guy needs to be covering back in here, and they do not get it. Now, unfortunately for United, this is a penalty. If you stop it right here, you can see this guy's he's tripped over his own feet, and he's fell on the guy trying to take a shot. So it's a pen. Yeah, as much as I want to say it's not, it is. He's fallen over, and he's fallen on the other guy, and I think his arm's kind of pushed into him as well at the same time, and he's gone down. It's a pen. Here's a better shot. If you're on the ground, and the other player still stood up, and then the ending result, the other player ends up falling down because you've hit his leg, it's a penalty, unfortunately. The reason we were highlighting the goal on the other side was because obviously Cole Palmer went to the same side, exactly the same. He's beaten the keeper again on the exact same thing. Keeper should do better. He doesn't. Yeah. Now, before we get into this final goal, I want to talk about, because I was obviously watching the game, Delalo, the same kiddie that gave the penalty away, gave the ball away as he's run down the field like a muppet in the 90 bazillionth minute or whatever it is now with the added extra time of the penalty and all that nonsense. And this is the complete and utter lack of professionalism from Manchester United. You're away. You're playing against Chelsea. It's 3-3. Take the point. Is Chelsea a mid-table, terrible team? Yes, they're a mid-table, terrible team. And you should beat them. But you're not. And you're trying to attack for no reason. And that is what the complete and utter lack of professionalism is here. It's because, as you can suddenly see, before I even start talking about it, if you're watching or seeing anything, you can see that they've all switched off. Why are they all switched off? Because no one is past that line there. So all this area of the field here is completely and utterly free for Chelsea to do whatever they want in. And this is what professionalism is. It's staying switched on to the final second, not having your left back who just gave away a penalty, running down the field, trying to create a goal to try to win the game. What are you doing? No. Hold on to the ball, see it out, get the draw, lick your wounds and go, we should have won that game. We're lucky not to lose it. But they don't. They push on like morons, get a goal and scored, on them, then they get a goal scored on them. Look at how bad this is. Cole Palmer, probably their most, close to being their best player, but definitely in their top two, on a corner, unmarked, and receives the ball completely and utterly unmarked right there inside the scoring funnel on the 18-yard box. You cannot let that happen in the 90 bazillionth minute. So there's the scoring funnel, and apparently he gets the ball with no one between him and the goal except for one little wee chap. But it's not going to matter as he smashes the ball into the net box. What are you doing, United? That is terrible. Here's the thing. If you look at where I stop this, and I stop it on purpose as we come here, can you see this guy's body shape and body position? That's his planting foot. So what he's done, he's run and he stamped his foot into the ground right there. Boom, boom, boom. That's where he's defending, is there. Instead of there, he's defending there. That's where he stopped his foot. He's not actually trying to win the ball. He's just trying to make it look like he's winning the ball. Look, have a look. You can see. He could have taken another step. He doesn't. He steps there. He could have carried on running past and let the ball hit him. He doesn't. As this ball goes, bosh, someone hits it in the chest, and it goes into the net box, and Chelsea get the win. Yeah. Battle of the bad teams goes to Chelsea. We'll see how it ends up at the end of the season. Thanks for listening to Cash Ramble. I'll see you next time on Cash Talks Football.